Hello, my name is Julie Weinrich, and I'm pleased to present to you my final project for the PIDP program. I began my PIDP journey in 2020. A coworker of mine and I were talking about the program and made a decision to apply to support each other along the way. In 2012, I began working for the British Columbia Emergency Health Services. As I gained more experience in the service, it became a goal of mine to teach one day. I thought that if I showed interest in furthering my education, it would help boost my resume. In 2023, I had my opportunity. I applied for a casual teaching spot and successfully passed the interview and the exam. That being said, for the majority of my PIDP experience, I had no curriculum or teaching position to refer to, which sometimes made things difficult. I had intended on completing my certificate in 2 years, but was faced with many obstacles along the way, which required that I modify my completion date. I'm very thankful to be at the end, but can't help feeling that I'm only just starting, as I have finally have the opportunity to apply what I've learned. My intention for the next few minutes is to reflect on my PIDP experience and highlight some of my journey and aha moments. I'll close with some highs and lows and what my intentions are going forward. 3100 was my very first PIDP course. Glenn Gailey was a great intro to the program. This course was all about getting to know the adult learner. 3100 helped me develop a better understanding of the different ways the adult learner learns and the science behind it. This class also gave me the opportunity to remember how I learned and create assignments, as it had been quite a few years since my last post-secondary education experience. One aha moment I had from this class was through a reflection. I'd never been asked to write a reflective paper before, and I remember struggling, but once I got going, I learned to appreciate them. This particular assignment, I chose to explore the connection between soft skills and emotional intelligence and how they help create resilience. I discovered that the underpinnings of resilience involve a fair amount of self-reflection, which is the foundation for emotional intelligence. A great way to grow emotional intelligence is through the application of soft skills, such as communication, teamwork, creativity, and adaptability. Through this assignment, I discovered Daniel Goleman and his 4 pillars of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Building and maintaining resilience in paramedicine is crucial in the prevention of mental health injury. In 3100, I also began to reflect on which teaching theories I was drawn to and what I might use as a foundation when I start teaching. I was quickly drawn to Carl Rogers' constructivist theory, as I feel like learning through doing is a great combination. And I think that learning is more meaningful when the learner can connect new knowledge to previous experience. I continued along with 3250 instructional strategies. This class took place as the pandemic was in full swing. The stress that surrounded emergency services and healthcare was overwhelming. This class encouraged me to explore how to motivate and encourage students through their learning journey. The timing of this was impeccable, as it was really challenging for me to stay focused and motivated. I loved that through this course, I was able to get creative when learning about student engagement techniques and challenge myself in different ways on classroom management. For my first reflection, I discussed Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It was an interesting time to learn about it and experience what needs are important in a time of crisis and discover how people's views, values, and priorities change based on the needs that are being impacted. Another impactful assignment that I did was a case study, and I chose Nellie the Naysayer. I never considered how I would react if a student wasn't going with the flow. This is so relevant in my field, as many employees attend training because they have to and not because they want to. I discovered by looking at a tough situation through a lens of curiosity can be quite helpful. By asking why, we can sometimes discover what emotions and experiences are behind the current behavior. I continued on with an assignment for a student engagement technique. I chose set number 5, which was stations. I like stations. I like that the students can get up and move, and I also think it encourages the think, pair, share, which can help deepen a student's learning experience. I moved along with 3260, Professional Practice. This class introduced me to concepts that helped me build a more professional attitude as an instructor, as well as ways to receive feedback and conduct evaluations. We also explored ethics in education and in the classroom. In order to work as a paramedic, I need to hold and maintain a license. Ethics play a large role in our field, so I found this topic very interesting. We were invited to complete a total of 5 reflections, all of which helped me tease apart how I feel and where my values lie in and around education. With the help of Stephen Brookfield's book, The Skillful Teacher, I explored team teaching and its benefits. I reflected on different dilemmas that teachers face, such as students who plagiarize assignments. I learned about new techniques that assist in checking in with students to ensure they are grasping the material, such as a 1-minute paper. This is the class where I learned how to blog. I really wish I had more time to blog, maybe a retirement plan. Nonetheless, it was an interesting activity, and I'm happy that I now know how to create one. I definitely see how it could be useful in the classroom setting. Next up was 3210, Curriculum Development. I really enjoyed this class. I was excited to be creative and explore how to create lesson plans and discover where my constructivist mindset fit in. On the flip side, I also found this extremely challenging because I wasn't actually teaching at the time, so I had to create content with little to start from. I managed to come up with some content, but I felt that everything would have been more applicable if I had a real experience to connect with. This is where I learned about the BOPS model and how to apply it. I created my first lesson plan, and I remember being so lost. It was far from perfect. I hope to be able to use these skills again so that I can develop them. In this class, I had a huge aha moment, the connection between teaching through a constructivist lens. Linking new information and concepts that students already know is such an easy way to introduce new material. Next up was 3320, the delivery of instruction. This class also took place during COVID, so everything that was typically taught face-to-face needed to happen online. This was the first time I had taken part in a class that was set up this way. We met over Zoom once a week and did some projects in small groups over Zoom. I learned the difference between synchronous and asynchronous learning. I learned how to use the functions of Zoom, such as breakout rooms and sharing a screen. Dwayne also introduced me to different programs that I could use to create asynchronous assignments, such as Screencast-O-Matic. This was such a huge learning curve, and it took me what felt like hours to figure it all out. But what a useful experience it was. So much education is online now, and these skills are absolutely necessary. Continuing on, I did 3230, Evaluations of Learning. In this class, I learned about different assessments and evaluation techniques and how to apply them. I also learned that they are actually different. All these years, I use the words interchangeably. I'm not going to lie, I struggled hard with this class. For some reason, the concepts were very difficult for me to grasp, and it probably took me longer than most. Moving forward, following graduation, this is one area I need to practice and develop more. I'm hoping that through my current teaching role, I can develop and trial different strategies for evaluation and see what works and what doesn't. Again, during this class, I didn't have much curriculum to draw from, and I wasn't really satisfied with the lesson plan that I had created in 3210, so I found myself creating new content. A big aha moment I had in this class was without a solid course framework of goals, objectives, and learning outcomes, it is impossible to create evaluations and assessments that are valid and reliable. And in order to capture an accurate idea of how a student is doing, assessments and evaluations must be integrated throughout the course in a variety of ways. I finished up with 3240, Media Enhanced Learning. Once again, I was happy that I got to use my creative brain for this course. Using different types of media to deliver education was interesting. I challenged myself to try different techniques and use different media platforms. I created a Twitter account and used it to communicate with my small group. Initially, I was really turned off by this idea, but it got me exploring Twitter a different media platform, and so I found it interesting in the end. I created an infographic that incorporated different types of media through a site called Vinage, and I created a podcast through Podomatic. I also created a PowerPoint using a Pisha Kucha method, which is 20 slides of pictures with no text that play for 20 seconds each. I love this challenge, and it got me in the mindset that less is more. In closing, some of the high points during this program were finally achieving the teaching position within my organization. This is the first step in the right direction, and I couldn't be happier. As a paramedic, I feel like it's always a good idea to have a plan B, as it is nearly impossible to work in this profession all the way until retirement age. Having a secondary skill set will allow me to work when my body and mind can't keep up. I learned so many useful tools, theories, and techniques that will help me grow and develop. Some examples are the BOPS model to plan and keep students engaged, evaluation techniques that are valid and reliable, the integration and application of technology such as Zoom and Kahoot, and the ability to continuously and critically reflect on my learning journey. Some low points that I struggled with were maintaining a work, school, and life balance. This was the first time completing post-secondary education with children. This was no easy feat, and I struggled hard. I also had to navigate during COVID, and I also had major surgery during this time. Some key takeaways. I discovered that I enjoy teaching and working with others. I find a lot of value in teamwork and team teaching. I think I can produce better ideas and better results when working in small groups. Another takeaway is to always reflect. I wish I understood the value of this before PIDP. It has been such a positive exercise. Taking time to stop, think, and question has helped me discover new ways of thinking and has challenged my mindset. Ways that my thinking has changed. Early on, I became attracted to a constructivist approach, and I don't think I wavered from that too much throughout my PIDP journey. It seemed to always resurface, even if it was unintentional. Some things I need to keep working on. Bottom line, I need to teach more. I was so anxious and nervous when delivering my lesson for my capstone. It was not what I had hoped, but it was a good first step. I need to find more opportunities and push myself outside my comfort zone. Recently, I was approached by my unit chief to plan some informal training sessions at our station this coming fall. I intend on using this opportunity to practice. Thank you to the PIDP faculty for helping make my journey positive and memorable.